Live life king size on an empty wallet. Guruji Rishi Prabhakar. Chapter 3. How to be free. I learned that the most valuable experience that everyone is looking for is freedom. Uh, Whether you are studying in a college towards a degree or going to work for earning bread and butter, or you have started a business or enter politics, everyone is seeking freedom. Nobody likes to be imprisoned and their freedom taken away. Everyone strives for freedom. Their way of expressing this urge may be different. The more courageous you are, the more fun and freedom you have in your life. The greatest courage is not in going to war with your neighbors to defeat and subject with him. This is what most people do get freedom from their obstacles, and neighbors is the first one that resist your encouragement. So it is most difficult to love the neighbor as you love the yourself. You can love people who are far away and who do not interfere with you day to day. The greatest courage is to keep quiet and trust. I learned that there are different depths to keeping quiet. I also learned that freedom is never secured by acting on the obstacle outside. Freedom is experienced only by going inwards into your silence. I was always anxious and nervous while studying for my MBA. I noticed that I was working very hard to meet the horrendous requirement of the class. Before I broke down, I was fortunate to discover how to slow down my activity. Until then, I had never thought that there is something like slowing down consciously. Slowing down consciously is different from giving up out of frustration. If you are feeling frustrated, then that is the right time to get back into conscious slowing down. Slowing down your physical activity is not so difficult, but slowing down your mind is an art to be learned. That art started with my patience practices of TM. Then I noticed that almost everyone who practiced TM around me was caught up in getting somewhere called enlightenment. This is much greater diseases. Gradually, I have learned what is conscious slowing down. We are normally caught up in providing some result or another. To be still without perking ourselves into some action or another for a result is not understood or practiced. Most people, without the taste of this experience of stillness, will call these practices as a waste of time and laziness. It is not an art that you can master in a day, but it is not hard like learning music, etc. Easiest thing to do is doing nothing. In the practice of silence, first we must understand that we are not trying to achieve anything for at least a few minutes while we are practicing silence. The silence happen by itself and we are only setting up condition for the silence to happen by itself without any interference from our side. We can start with sitting quietly and not be disturbed for a minute, few minutes in our life. What is sitting quietly? Not to be disturbed by three things in sitting quietly. The first thing that disturb you is the surrounding. You will be disturbed by your wife or child if you don't tell them not to disturb you for a few minutes. You have to switch off your phone or make some arrangement to receive the phone. You must be able to make sure that you are not physically called upon to act on the outside world for a few minutes. Second obstacle that does not allow you to be quiet is your body pain. You cannot relax while standing because the body will begin to pain. You have to sit comfortably so the body does not disturb you. You should not lie down for conscious slowing down. The mind will tend to go to sleep rather than be in conscious silence. The spine must be comfortably erect. During the first few days, it is alright to support our back while sitting. It is the best to sit across leg on the floor on a mat. If not possible, sit in comfortable chair with a straight back to that the spine is perpendicular to the ground. The third obstacle to sitting quietly is your past memories. When you start attending to your thoughts that you come to your mind, you start getting excited. The trick is to the trick is to notice the thoughts as you notice passer by without taking action or getting engrossed in them. We neither reject a passerby nor attend to a passerby. We just let them go without attraction or repulsion. If you sit quietly like this consciously for a few minutes doing nothing, something miraculous happens. Then you start feeling very relaxed. Gradually, your body feelings disappeared. You start feeling an emptiness that is full of awareness. This conscious silence is called samadhi. Gradually all thoughts slow down and they stopped bothering you even through you notice that they are there. Don't try to eliminate these passerby thoughts. You will get into trouble. Let the passerby be it will let you be. You become tranquil, and many of your past disturbance from day to day event will disappear. Now you will be able to see them as event and not as a disturbance. This is how you become free from disturbance and events. You are free now. After about 15 minutes of silence, sitting quietly, you start feeling energetic and spontaneous enthusiasm to play in the world will begin. After a nice nap, you don't continue to sleep. You start going to the bathroom, empty your bowels, brush your teeth, and you are ready for breakfast. You are ready for action even if you don't have to go to work. Important thing is not to try to sit quietly for longer than your body and mind allow. Get up and start kicking. Life is not for only sitting quietly. You must be able to go into your quietness when your body feels exhausted and your mind is disturbed. Learning this art is the first fundamental education according to the enlightened master of India. Taking time to do nothing is the practice of silence. You will start appreciating that in silence you experience abundance. You are in touch with God. God is abundance, ultimate, unlimited. God is not thing or a person. God is the inner experience of peace. God is within and outside. Before you start experiencing the God outside as play,
Let us experience the God within as peace. You can go to deep level of silence if you take time to sit quietly before lunch or dinner. Once you eat food, the digestive metabolism will not allow your body to be quiet. It is important for us to take 15 minutes time to sit quietly before eating while we are tired and hungry. I learned that silence practice cannot be done at any odd time, especially when you are disturbed from events in life. Regular practice of silence clear the clutter in the mind similar to the vomiting your carpet of dust, vacuuming your carpet of dust. SP silence practice helps you to unburden your stress. One of the best time to take 15 minutes of silence is after your office work. Sit quietly for 15 minutes after office hours at the office after the clutter in the office stop and nobody is there to physically disturb you or call for your attention. You may go home a few minutes later, but a fresh you is present to your family and you can dispose of all thoughts and concern about the office. I first started practicing silence when I was still working in Ottawa. There was a distinct difference in my walk back home after work. Before SP, I was going home dead tired. Now, after SP, I was dancing home and cooked for my group in few minutes enthusiastically. Life is not about getting things done. Life is about enthusiasm in what you do. Any job is great if you have that inherent enthusiasm that comes from inner silence and satisfaction. Most people are enthusiastic when they see that the end result is very lucrative. The carrot of for striking the energy lasts for a while and become zero on failure to get the result or even when the suspicious of failure creep in. Another pep talk, another empowerment seminar may boost your ego and excite you into resolve action to fight for success. Such ego trip causes great zapping of energy. You join a group of people who are equally greedy like you in network marketing group. You talk of service to the community, but the hidden agenda is your greed. Then you may invite another empowerment leader, greater than your whole group, to kick you into action. Anything you do with greed will lessen your life span as there is great exertion. With SV, you will realize that getting somewhere is not the end of life, end all of life. Where you start is more important than where you arrive. And in fact, where you start and where you end is one and the same. Normally, you start binding action with greed and prospect of gain. In SP, you start with no ex- expectation and end in no expectation, but in state of contentment and inner enhancement. You end up in joy for no reason and no effort. Here, the laws are different from working for a result. This is the silence of a karma, non doing. We are used to the law of karma only. In work, you have starting point, a process to get to the next point and the goal. You feel successful on achieving the goal. It is all perspiration for days and years for a moment of joy. To get a degree, you spend 15 years of work and you feel successful for a moment. You are not satisfied still as there are others who have accomplished much more. In play, you start the play for a play and enjoy the play, while at play and there is no goal other than play. The science and the art of life is not to live life as play and not as a work. Joy is not afterward but now. Contemplate whatever you should do things for joy or you should do things joyfully. Contemplate. Are you able to stop doing and start being? Whatever freedom is for doing or freedom is from doing. Freedom of speech is important or freedom from speech is important. Similarly, with freedom of thought or freedom from thought, etc. Struggle is for freedom of speech. It requires permission from others. Freedom from speech is a real freedom which you get in your own silence. When you are in silence, you enjoy it so much that speaking drops off drops off by itself. Doing leads to a more and more bounded personality. Build up ego. Non doing liberates your spirit. Doing is material, non doing is spiritual. While doing, you forget who you really are. While in non doing, you realize who you are. Normally, we identify ourselves with the body or what we study or with a philosophy or with a country or with a culture, etc., and lose our real unbounded self as a awareness. Gaining spirit rather than being stuck with ego is wisdom. Wisdom stops ignorant, reactive action that binds you further. All freedom and all answer are in the silence. The ultimate guru is silence. Dakshinamurti गौरव सर्वा लोकानां भि- भिषाजे भावा रोगिणं निधाय सर्वा विद्यानं दीक्षाना मूर्ते नमः.
What have you learned? Freedom is experienced by going into silence within. Learning to be silent is the first fundamental education for life. Silence practice overcomes three obstacles to silence, that of surrounding, body pain, and past memories. Life is not about getting things done. Life is about being in enthusiasm. Freedom is not for doing, but real freedom is freedom from doing. I thank you. Here we come to end of chapter 3, that is how to be free. I thank you.